Dave Palumbo here with RXMuscle.com. I'm here with Aaron Singerman and Chris Aceto, and we're one day out from the Arnold Classic 2019, just like old times, guys. And we don't know who's going to win again. And we get to make some predictions. We get to do some analysis. Chris, I'm going to go to you first. Who's the man to beat here on this Arnold Classic stage?
Well, I think the dark horse here that's going to surprise everyone is just my gut feel. My gut's usually right. Is Josh Lenartowicz.
Whoa!
I think that I think he's somebody who could sneak up. I mean, he weighs a lot. He's
280. Tony Doherty saw him before. He said he's 280 and peeled to the bone.
Okay, so you finished my sentence. He's usually peeled to the bone. Mm-hmm. And what's important is he's a big guy. He's tall and he's wide, and width and height count. People say, Bonac is going to repeat, but he's going to be standing next to a different lineup. Last year he was standing next to Dexter. He's got more muscle per square inch than Dexter, so he beats Dexter. But if he's standing next to Josh and maybe Cedric on one side, or Josh and Cedric and Roelly, they're all taller, they're all wider, and Roelly's beaten Bonac before. So it's a wide open show, but I just think that Josh has been someone who's won his first two pro shows when people are like, what, who is he? And he's won these his first two pro shows, so I think he's capable.
Josh Lenartowicz, obviously 280 pounds, but William Bonac, the defending champion. Rouille Winkler, third place at the Olympia, surging. Cedric McMillan, former Arnold Classic champion. Who do you like in this lineup?
So I actually like a lot of things that Chris just said. I think Josh is going to surprise people for sure, but I'm actually going to stick with the more traditional answer of going with William Bonac. I think that it will be extremely disruptive because William Bonac is, almost, people are saying, other than Sean, they're talking about him as Mr. Olympia potentially. So if you're talking about him as Mr. Olympia, Josh Lenartowicz has taken some time off. He comes back. Is he going to beat somebody that they're talking? I don't know. That's a big jump. Is it possible? For sure. But I don't know. I'm gonna stick with my top pick with William Bonac.
Bonac would be the smart pick in this lineup because he's the most consistent. He always brings great conditioning to the stage. He's won this before. But you know what? My feel-good guy, the guy I would love to see in that winner's circle again, and I know you know what I'm thinking about, is Cedric McMillan. Because here's a guy who might have given the greatest acceptance or winner's speech of all time at the Arnold Classic. I mean, he actually was ribbing Arnold Schwarzenegger himself. And to me, I think everyone is kind of neglecting him, and no one's really talking about him as a potential guy to win the show. But he's beaten every one of these guys before.
More than once. And, he's so long as he's full and he's big, he could easily walk in here. If he's full and he's big, Josh can't beat him because he's a taller version. He's taller than Josh. He's beaten Josh. His pecs are fuller than Josh. His side chest is going to, have more roundness when he's full. If he's full and he's hard enough, then he can win for sure.
What about Brandon Curry? Brandon Curry is a guy who had a great year last year. He's a guy who's upcoming. He was out at Oxygen Gym, sequestered.
Yeah.
We know that when he goes out there, he comes back better.
Yeah.
Is this a guy who, if people are off, could come in and win this show?
So I actually think that Brandon Curry would be the feel-good story for me. And now that you're a guy with a bunch of kids, you know exactly what he is.
You or I would never be allowed to go to Dubai, to Kuwait for 6 months.
No way. No, I think he said that. I think that Brandy said that he's going 7 months out of the year.
That's crazy.
So the commitment that he is and that his family has to allow that to be understanding that he's doing this for his family and for his career. Right. He's leaving and committing this. I mean, not just the time, but the time away from kids growing up, young kids.
Sure.
He's putting everything he has into this. So to see him win, to me, that's a really feel-good story because I'd be like, you know what? It all paid off because obviously he comes in 6, man. It's like, dude, what is your life? How did this happen? That you're investing something that doesn't come to any kind of fruition. So I hope Brandon Curry wins. I hope he does great. I would love to see him do good, and I wouldn't be surprised if he is in that second place spot.
Rouille Winkler, 2 weeks ago, we saw some guest posing footage of him. Didn't look like the guy who was going to come in here and win this show. It didn't look like the third place guy at the Olympia, but Brandon Curry said that Rouille has the ability to really starve and suffer those last 2 weeks and not lose muscle. Will we see the best Rouille Winkler in your opinion?
I don't think it matters if he loses muscle because he's still going to have enough muscle to potentially win the show. The depth of the lineup is amazing. When you mention Brandon Curry, and he didn't even literally pop into my mind, and then you say Brandon Curry, and you understand the changes he's made the last couple of years. He's a front runner too. Having said that, I think Roelly has to be, like everyone, right? He has to be at his best to win the show. he's beaten Bonac. Bonac's beaten him. They've gone back and forth. I think there's not that good blood between those two
I
because
don't
they've
know.
gone back and
Yeah,
forth.
probably, I'm
But
sure.
And the Kuwait thing,
You know-
and the Wawan thing. They have a lot of different elements.
Yeah,
in
there's a lot of competitive
elements,
stuff
there's
going
just,
on.
there's just so much variety. Okay, there's so much variety of physiques. Cedric, classic, round, full. Bonac, dense, thick, hard. Freak, Roelly. That's why the incredible shape of Brandon Curry. That's why the weird factor for me keeps going back to Josh. Like, he doesn't have any of those, but he's a combination of a lot of them, being a big guy too. So it's hard to make a prediction, and it depends on how people look.
This is the first show that we haven't made predictions for.
Yeah.
Everyone asks me, how come you guys didn't do predictions?
We don't know.
Because I don't know who to even pick. But I'm going to ask everyone in a minute who they have. But the truth of the matter is that no show that we've ever gone to has ever had everyone in shape.
No.
So we're evaluating people based on their best.
Yeah.
The truth is that probably 25% of those people we spoke about will be their best.
I have a question for
Yes.
you guys. For you guys are the diet experts. Did you see Rouille guest pose in Nepal? Did you see the video of him doing it?
2 weeks ago, yeah, we
Did you
said
see
that.
that? So you guys are the experts. Is it possible for somebody
No.
to go? No. Okay, can you look like that? And then 2 weeks later,
Not at his all-time best.
not at his all-time best. And
Yeah.
and Rouille, not his all-time best, is not that good.
And
Right.
here's
Well, his structure will suffer if he has to
This is
suffer
the
down
midsection
to it.
rule,
Yeah, I mean, he can look really good, but he's not going to look really good, like dialed in. You know what's going to happen? He'll look really good, and people will say,
And he'll still place well.
yeah, and
He
he'll
won't
still
win,
place
but he'll
well,
place well.
He'll look really, really good, and people will be like, "Wow, he looks incredible. He pulled it out." And then he's going to get into the mix of the comparisons, and then you're going to see all the people or the few people, or the people with him, with the they hit it,
The rock hard.
and then you're going to say like, "Well, you know what? Maybe he shouldn't have."
Do you
Not-
think?
maybe
Do
he
you
could've
think
been
Cedric's
better.
going to hit it this time? I mean, you probably had the most. You're not helping him, but you have the most, I guess, communication with him.
Yeah, I still speak. You know what? Cedric will probably hit it. That's my guess. Cedric is like Las Vegas. You don't know, where the dice is going to fall. But I think that
Can the best Cedric beat the best
yes,
William Bonac?
Yes, absolutely.
All right, that says a lot right there. That
that'll
says
be
a lot.
interesting.
That says that Cedric will win the show.
Tell you what,
In my mind.
Cedric McMillan, in my opinion, is literally like the gold mine in bodybuilding and fitness. He's he's way underground. He is like a mile down, but under there's this vein of gold.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't do social media. He doesn't like the interviews.
Right.
He is like a recluse. He hit me up recently to buy supplements to give away at a show,
Right.
with a friend show, like a charity thing.
Yeah.
And I sent him all the supplements, and I'm thinking to myself, this guy is such a gold mine because he has all this personality and character and humor, but he doesn't want to show it.
I was going to say,
same thing with the.
Having said all that, he may be underground, but if you put a mic to his mouth, it's
You can't shut him up. Yeah.
How do you make it happen, though?
It's Muhammad Ali and Malcolm X combined in two,
he's
warped
the
into
best.
bodybuilding
He's
with
the
an
best.
Arnold physique.
If he wins, you won't be able to shut him up. He'll interview with everyone all night long
until he goes back into hiding again.
Right. Until the Olympia comes around. Yeah. Well, I think what we've come to the conclusion here is that there is no conclusion and that there's no certain winner for sure, and that's what makes.
Gotta mention at least Luke, my guy Luke Sandoe. I have to mention.
Well, it's his guy too.
Yeah, it's our guy.
Yeah.
I just want to say, because I know we're talking about who's going to win, and it's unlikely Luke wins.
Well, I
but
think on the outside you have Luke Sandoe and you have an Akim Williams too.
Yeah.
These are guys with tremendous
Top
talent
six
who
potential guys, 100%.
could definitely be factors,
Yes.
especially if other guys are off.
Right. I just wanted to make sure I mentioned that as an athlete, as a
It's
person.
duly noted for
Okay.
your
All
Redcon
right.
1
Thank you.
athlete.
I
He
had to
has
make
been
sure.
mentioned on
I had to
camera.
make sure.
Yes,
Good.
yes.
Thank you.
Luke, we mentioned you. But no, I will say this. I've seen Luke make tremendous improvements from last year to this year.
Crazy.
I mean, he might be height for size one of the biggest guys on stage. Him and Rouille,
Yeah.
I know his goal is to make top 6, and there'd be nothing that make me happier to have him achieve that goal and maybe better.
And of course, I want to thank Aaron Singerman for his sponsorship. Isn't it amazing that who would have thought 10 years ago that you'd be sponsoring our coverage of all these shows? So that's great.
Certainly not me.
Yeah,
Certainly not me.
I'm glad. Well, better you than me.
Yeah.
But once again, the conclusion that we've come to is there is no conclusion, and that we will find out Saturday morning at the prejudging who is in shape and who might win. And stay tuned for our prejudging wrap-up, of course, and then, of course, the night show wrap-up. And all the festivities all weekend long. If you haven't, subscribe to the YouTube channel on RXMuscle and like our Instagram. And stay tuned, because I'm Dave Palumbo with Aaron Singerman and Chris Aceto. We'll see you a lot more this weekend.